All right, there's a new Korean movie on Netflix called Revelations by the director who did Trains of Busan, the sequel, and other pretty interesting films. However, does this religious thriller work? Let's find out. Chase Liaki here with the Blue Futon reviewing Revelations. Gosh, I'm an idiot sometimes. So what's about pretty simple premise? I'll just talk to it. What's on the web page are Rotten Tomatoes. I'm an idiot. A pastor who believes in divine revelation and a detective hunted by visions pursue a missing persons case, exploring their own demons in the process. So, did I like this film? I think it was kind of a letdown, unfortunately. I didn't mind the slow pace. I didn't mind the acting. I didn't mind where the story was going to go. But I think when the last 30 minutes did occur and there was this interesting scene in a warehouse, or not a warehouse, but an abandoned construction site, that is where the movie kind of like fell off the cliff for me in a very bad way. For it went very conventional, where it could have gone somewhere where it's like an oh shit moment, but it just kind of goes like, oh, we're going the same old route. So it's positives. Like I said, the story itself is very fascinating about how it opens up with the guy following a girl, right? And they go to his church and sits down. And the pastor is like kind of talking to this guy, not knowing who he is, sees he has an ankle monitor, and is like, you know what? We take people, good or bad, sinners, you're all in God's country, kind of that way. His daughter goes missing, thinking it's him, but it was actually the person that he was following that went in the church went missing. So that occurs, right? And so now he's thinking, oh shit, I done something. What do I need to do? And God's message was basically like, you need to find this guy and kill this guy because there's an angel in the sky. All right, so you have that storyline, right? Then you have the detective storyline who really wants to find this guy because he didn't kill her sister, but he put so much harm in her sister. And there's a prosecutor or a psychologist that was basically saying he didn't do nothing wrong. His psyche is so messed up because he was abused as a child that, it's not her fault. And of course, that led to her committing suicide because they were more saying feeling sorry for the criminals than the victims. And we do that a lot now with Democratic mayors. Like there was a stabbing in Boston, right, where a criminal had a knife. The cops shot him, and they're like, "We're sorry for the victim and the victim's family." They were trying to kill someone. We are in this world where we want to like really protect the criminals and the victims. Fuck that noise. Especially like when there was that like eclipse or full moon that happened like 2 years ago, and like prisoners in New York wanted to sue because their religion says they had to see the moon, and they actually won the case so they get to see the moon. Well, guess who can't see the moon? The people they raped and fucking murdered. Like, how do we forget about that? How do we truly forget about the victims? It just boggles my mind. We're in a society where we see all these criminals do bad shit, and we're just like, oh, forgiveness, right? I'm sorry. At some point, if you rape, if you murder anyone, like cold-blooded murder, I think is very different than self-defense is very different than, oh, I'm just going to do a gangbang shooting, or I just feel like stabbing up a fucking Idaho college and kill 4 people, or I'm going to shoot up a church in Tennessee. No, motherfucker. The victims. Criminal. That should be the quickest court case where it's like, evidence, you dead, firing squad. Saves the taxpayer so much money, and that way, and people are like, oh, death penalty. I'm sorry. I believe in the death penalty. Full stop. I believe in it. So that movie, this is where it irks me, this movie, right? Because no, we don't forget about the victim, but the very end of the movie wants us to be like, oh, this guy though, yes, he might be a bad guy, but in his past, so much shit happened to him. Sure, agree. A lot of bad shit happens to people in the past, absolutely. But if you're going to correlate that to doing it in today's day and age and not care and laugh about it, I have no sympathy. This movie wanted us to give us sympathy to this guy kidnapping girls frivolously. Yes, the pastor did was absolutely wrong too. 2 wrongs don't make a right whatsoever, because he was having his own cycle breakdown of like what he is seeing in the sky. but the ending really bothered me of where the story wanted to go and what it was actually trying to say overall. Because like I said, the girl cop was having visions and visions and visions, but we wanted to make this psychiatrist and this guy committing these horrific acts of like murder and raping and torturing girls. Like, we really want to do that. We really want to try to push that we need to have sympathy for him. Yes, I can have sympathy that he has a bad childhood, but I can't have sympathy that after 18, after 22, that he's in the world doing all this bad shit to people. I just can't do it. Maybe it's like, but Christianity, like, I'm sorry, at a point, I just can't. I'm sorry. It's going to be hard to change my mind on that level, period, dot, end of subject. But I do think his acting's pretty good, pretty solid. There's a good one take in that construction warehouse or that abandoned place, pretty solid. Overall, though, Revelations, I think it was a misfire. Yes, there were some good elements in this film, some good acting. I was intrigued by the whole premise, and it did keep me entertained throughout the whole film of where the movie was going to try to go. And when it did end, the last 15 minutes really was a letdown for me. So Revelations will receive a 3 out of 5 with Futon, because at 60%. Let's see what the critics' news scores gave this one. Critics say 71% with 17 of them. No critic consensus. 60-71. Jeez, I agree with the Blue Futon. Like, comment, subscribe. One of the things Butantopia. You Blue Tony. Thank you for watching. Have a great day. I'm watch the state tomorrow. Week from now. 3 years from now. Every single freaking one of you. Peace and love. Peace and love. And yes, if you have a bad childhood, I'm truly sorry. But don't go torturing people. Fucked up.